589-8840, financial issues, the major indices in negative territory. Folks, I just want to remind you once again, you heard a little spot there about the 44-cent cure. It's something that we're involved in here for the next couple of weeks, and we're asking folks to call. For 44 cents, we can save a child's life. 7 million children die each year because of contaminated water systems throughout villages with parasites. And these parasites are killing 7 million people. And for 44 cents, one pill, you can save a life. And we need to get these in as many hands as possible. These pills get delivered to these villages and such, along with the gospel message of Jesus Christ. So we have opportunities to save their eternal life, as well as their physical life. And we need to try to participate in that to whatever extent we can. And I'm just asking all of you, so far, we have impacted already 7,000 children, just AFR listeners, 7,000 children. We now have an opportunity to save their life. And we just want to continue that and try to reach as many as we possibly can. You can call now at 800-700-8084. 800-700-8084. I hope you'll call right now. It's so important, and I sure would appreciate it. 44-cent cure, and we can save children's lives, and I hope you'll do that. Let me go back to the phones and go to Reba. Reba calling us from Florida. Hey, Reba.
Hi, Dan. I appreciate your expertise and your godly attitude.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have some money invested in what I thought was money market. I always referred to it as high-yield money market, but I now was told that it's not money market. It's just called high yield, and I'm wondering if I have this in the right place.
How old are you, Reba?
I'm 90.
I would move it out of there. I mean,
Right.
I don't feel good about it being there in a high yield. High yield means that it is supposed to help and send you more income, and it does. And it is good for that. The problem is it's risky because this is made up of bonds that are risky bonds. In other words, the reason that you get a higher yield is because the bond, that the company that's issuing the bond has to give someone a high return because nobody wants the bond, because they're so risky, and maybe some of them are on the verge of bankruptcy and they're very risky. So in order to attract investors, they offer a very high rate of return. So I think it's a little bit too risky. I would rather just see, I know now you're not going to earn as much, but I'd rather see you in a money market account, and I would rather you get out of them now because the value on these are probably still pretty good. In other words, if you sell them now, you won't lose any money. But if it starts turning down and you sell them, you'll lose money. So I'd rather see you get them out of there soon and just move it over into a bank and protect that principal, which it sounds like you thought you were doing anyway.
It is better.
Yes. A bank. Yeah, but okay.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome, Reba. Thank you. I appreciate it. Great question, folks. We've got to be cautious. It's always good. And fortunately for Reba, she found out that what she thought she had, she didn't have at all. And it's important that we kind of just requalify every once in a while. Here's what I think I have. Is this really what I have? Because this is what I think I have. We need to maybe ask that question of someone or take another look at it. And it's very important that we do that. Let me go to Rebecca. Rebecca calling us from Texas. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi. I'm calling. I'm a mother of three, and I have been struggling for years to find a job, any job, full-time job, something that pays more than minimum wage. It's been nearly impossible. I am in the position of the person that is getting food stamps and Medicaid for my children and can't pay my bills, and I've tapped out my family and I've tapped out my resources, and I'm not really in the position of looking at my future anymore, but looking at how I'm going to survive day to day and how I'm going to feed my kids. And I understand, with this amnesty bill and everything that's going on with that. I understand mothers in Mexico that can't provide for their families or fathers. I would be in that position of wanting to come over too. However, my problem with that is that I'm not angry with them, because in that situation, I'd be making the same choice. What I'm angry with is that my government hasn't provided enough now that I'm in the position of not being able to provide for my family, and I don't have a fence to call through or take my children to a better opportunity. I'm finding my opportunities dwindling. I'm frustrated because whenever I speak to my family about Obama and about what's going on, or even my mentors at church, they don't seem to understand that how volatile the situation is, and this whole raising the minimum wage, that is so ridiculous. And I'm in a position where I can't find a job more than minimum wage. But I realize the implications that will have on raising the money of everything you will buy, of people losing jobs, and it doesn't better things. And it astounds me that people don't see this, and that people don't know this, and that people talk to me like I'm a conspiracy theorist or whatever, and they don't understand, and I don't know how to get them to understand, and I don't know how to get ahead, and I'm underwater with my lips just grasping for air at the surface, and I don't really have a question, because financially I don't have anything to offer. Right. I can't tithe, I can't give, I can't invest. I can barely fix the damages of things that are in my home, much less buy food. And it is so frustrating. And there's no getting ahead. I'm not seeing anything in the past few years that has allowed me to have the opportunity to get ahead. My husband even went to school. We had a $15,000 debt, and he can't get a job. And it's just, it is just crazy to me. It blows my mind.
Well, Rebecca, all I can say to you is you have to understand, too, as, you want people to understand your position, and I do. You need to understand that people are coming from a place where, unfortunately, and you heard me say this, I hope you heard me say this yesterday, when I was talking about disability benefits and people that are collecting food stamps and all those kinds of things, and my comments yesterday were, me personally, I believe that the vast majority of people that are in that situation don't want to be in that situation. I believe that. Are there abusers? Are there people taking advantage of the system? Yes, there are. And I think that, unfortunately, from a news media standpoint and everything else that people see, that's what they know. That's what they see. And unfortunately, people don't have the ability to not put everybody or lump everybody into that same category. So that's one issue. But all I can say to you is that from everything that I see, and I can't speak about the city in which you live or the town and the area in which you live, but there are opportunities. I remember my son-in-law working 4 jobs 4 years ago, 4 jobs. And he got them all within a week because he went to 200 places and filled out applications because he was willing to do anything. And he needed to do 3 or 4 to be able to pay their mortgage. And he did it. And he's a guy with an MBA, and he was waiting on tables and, working in retail just so he could make ends meet. And I appreciate that about him. And he's one of the worst offenders for people that don't have any. He doesn't get it. He takes great exception to people that say there's no opportunity. He just, so he's one of those people that is very, against people that say they don't have this opportunity. I think there are opportunities out there, and I think we always fail to forget a couple of things. One is we have food on our table, and that's a good thing. I mean, it's hard, it's a struggle, it's work every day, I'm sure, but nevertheless, you've managed to provide, and I think that the government has given you and others a great safety net in that because of the Medicaid system, you can provide health care, you can get health care for your children, and I think that's a great thing through the state of Texas that you're able to do that. And we always look at what we don't have, and we never look at what is happening. And I just want to share one story with you, Rebecca. I told a woman that called here with a similar plight. It was a little different. Her husband had died. She was in her 40s, and she was in a very similar situation. And I remember saying to her, "Do me a favor. I know it's a struggle. But the next time you put gas in your car, can you put 50 cents less in than you normally would and give the 50 cents to your church? Start. I know you can't tithe. Start. I'm telling you, you're not going to miss the 50 cents. Be faithful in any way you can, and don't miss out. Don't miss out on the opportunity, the opportunity to worship the Lord by giving, and you being in a situation where giving is so sacrificial, even if it's 50 cents. But we say, well, I'm not going to give 50 cents. It's silly. It isn't silly to God. It may be silly to you or to the church. It's not silly to God. And you need to get in a place where you're not going to lose your focus on the incredible act of worship that even in the midst of your plight of poverty or struggles, that you will continue to give and worship the Lord. And I know that opportunities will come your way as long as you're willing to look for them. And I'm going to ask all our listeners that they would pray for you right now, that they would pray for Rebecca from Texas, that Rebecca would have opportunities, find opportunities, seek the Lord in finding those opportunities, and give to the Lord, because the Lord does not promise us riches.